Very good job sitting down and paying attention. So A so far. Thank you all for coming tonight to the Addison Public Library Candidate Forum. My name is Missy Moritzen, and I teach political science at the College of DuPage. I'm a state and local specialist, so this is actually super exciting for me to come here and to be part of your election, so thank you for having me. Especially, I get to be up here for once, very exciting. When I say thank you all for coming tonight, I mean thank you to everyone, to the library staff who've worked so long and hard to coordinate this. Thank you for your service and for your dedication to keeping the public informed. In smaller races like this, it's really hard. To the candidates, thank you for taking the time tonight to come out here to put yourselves out in front of everybody. As a member of the Berwyn North District 98 School Board, I have been in your shoes. I know how hard it is, and I know in your heart what's at stake, and I know why you're doing this, so thank you for doing that. To the members of the community for coming out tonight, this is a fantastic turnout. Sometimes I do these and we get 10 or 15 people. This is really great. So thank you for being involved and for wanting to be more informed about your community. I tell my students all the time that this is the most important, right? This local stuff is the most important. The national stuff gets all the news, all the press, super sexy issues. No one wants to talk about streets and schools and public safety, but that's your interface every single day, right? Every single day when you wake up, that's what you're dealing with. So it deserves this. It deserves this kind of attention. So thank you very much for coming. We're going to do a short round of introductions just so you know who you're looking at. I think that's fair. And then we will jump into the questions. So we will not have like a time where people introduce themselves. The questions will kind of help you learn. A reminder that this is being taped, but it's not live. Also, when you speak, candidates, make sure to push the button so that we can hear you. And then when you're done, turn it off so then we don't hear you. So the order that we'll go in is library, parks, township, and then mayor. The order of the speakers and the rules are in front of you. You may want to mind these women right here who will hold up the sheets for you to remind you to turn your microphone on or off, and then also let you know if you're getting close to the time limit. Sound good? Shall we have a forum? Great. All right. So I think what we're going to do is have you tell us your name and tell us the office that you're seeking so that we can have a short, again, introduction for the audience, and then I'll jump into the questions. So we'll go by the order that's on the sheet here. So the first would be the candidates for Addison Public Library.
Hello, my name is Ruben Robles. I've been a library board trustee for almost 4 years now. Used to be a school nurse at Fullerton Elementary in Addison District 4 for a little over 7 years, and I'm currently a home health nurse.
Welcome. Kathleen?
Hi, I'm Kathleen Willis. I'm running for the Addison Library Trustee. I've been involved in Addison community almost all of my life. Been active in Scouts, PTA, the Special Events Commission, and Kiwanis. I was elected to the Addison District 4 School Board and served until I took over as state representative, where I served for 10 years. I have a master's degree in library science. I've worked in various libraries and managed the DuPage County Law Library. I am an avid library user. We are so lucky in Addison to have an award-winning staff who serve all of our patrons. I am so excited about the renovations taking place and can hardly wait to see the finished product. I understand board governance and budgeting. I understand that the role of the board is to make sure that we have the right people in place and give them the resources to deliver the best to our patrons. I'm proud of what we have now and hope to continue the great things that we have in Addison. Our library is one of the things, in my opinion, that gives us the Addison advantage. Please vote for me, Kathleen Willis, for Library Trustee.
Thank you. We will move on next to the Park District. Heather?
Hi, good evening. My name is Heather Podsmick. I am running for Park Commissioner for Addison Park District. I've been in Addison my whole life. I grew up here. Currently help out within the community, within various sports, outside organizations, and look forward to hoping to bring some change to the Park District.
Thank you. Dean?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dean Stefopoulos, current Park Board Commissioner. I want to thank Missy, Village of Addison, the library, panelists up here, and everybody that came out today. My wife and I moved to Addison in 1999, raised 3 kids in the schools here. All our kids were involved with Rec Club, AGSP, going through, and also the Park District. Been a small business owner in town for 28 years. As I mentioned, I just finishing up my first term and would ask for your support for a second term. We have really good momentum going in the Park Districts right now. We're able to get through some of the issues we've had. We're doing a lot of improvements on our parks, and we're looking to make even more improvements going forward. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. We'll move on to Township. Bobby?
Good evening. I'm honored to be a candidate for Township Supervisor because I believe that we can serve its residents and rise and meet the challenges of today with bold leadership. I'm proud to say that I'm a resident of Addison. Addison has added a son. My family and I moved here about 5 years ago. Many of you in the audience and watching may recognize me as the District Director of the 77th District. In my role there, I've already worked with many intergovernmental partners that overlap with Addison, and so I look forward to being your next Addison Township Supervisor.
Thank you. Clerk? Maria?
Oh, that's me. My name is Maria Visi. Some of you may recognize me from having run before. I ran for state representative this past November. With less than $25,000 and no name recognition, I got over 22,000 votes. I did not lose by a great number. I was asked by the Addison Township Democrats to run as clerk and was selected during the caucus for that. I have many degrees. My husband says I never tell anybody, so I will. I have an associate degree from Triton College in English. I have a double major from the University of Kentucky in political science and American history. I have a 3rd bachelor's degree from Roosevelt University in paralegal studies with an emphasis on constitutional law, which only makes me really good at Trivial Pursuit. And then I have a master's degree from the University of Michigan in investment finance. My background is in investment finance. I was working at the Board of Trade from the time I was 16 years old and rose all the way through the ranks. At one point, a good friend was the head of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. I ran the Chicago office for her. Her sister ran the New York office for her. And that was before I became a mother of 2 really wonderful boys. I have 2 really wonderful stepsons also. One of them we recently lost in January, so that's another battle I'm going to be fighting over how that happened. I have a lot of plans for the township. I think seniors need a lot of help, and I'm here to help them.
Great, thank you. We'll move on to the trustees. Max?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Max Usherfy, and I'm running for Addison Township Trustee. First, I want to thank the library for hosting this event and giving us the opportunity to speak to you guys. I've been a resident of the township for over 20 years, and I've lived in Addison, Villa Park area for most of the past 20 years, some of Bensenville. I'm very active in our local high school in Addison. I am the vice president of the Addison Theater Boosters. I'm also the vice president of the advisory council for the high school, and I'm also a committee member of the 46th District of Illinois Immigration Committee. One of the reasons I want to run is because I believe it's important to be transparent and have a transparent government. And so one of the things that we're trying to run on our platform is more transparency. I want to expand to senior services, and I want to make our food pantry accessible for all our constituents for more than 1 hour a week. One thing that I also would like to do is benchmark where we stand with other townships. I think it's important to look at how other townships function and benchmark what they do and try to compete with them and try to have the same standards. My goal is at the end of my term is that other townships would benchmark our township and we become the gold standard for township governance.
Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you.
Joey?
Thank you. Again, my name is Joey Moore, and I am your candidate for Addison Township Trustee. I'm committed to bringing the skills and experience I've gained over the past 7 years as a consultant to serve the needs of our community here in Addison Township. My clients as a consultant range from local government to grassroots national nonprofits and small businesses. My skills range from program evaluation, program initiatives, strategic planning, board development, procurement, and state contracts, particularly in construction for the state of Illinois, and business development. Not only that, I am a figure skating coach. I don't just get the privilege to teach girls and young women the foundation of figure skating, but I also get to instill confidence, leadership, perseverance, and teamwork. And I hope to inspire that I can have these young women step up and lead in their communities one day. So with all that being said, I believe all my skills are very transferable into being the township trustee that Addison Township needs right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Lost my place. Deborah?
My name is Deborah Sandstrom. Call me Debbie. I have lived in Addison Township for 27 years, living in Elmhurst. My background is in adult education, ELL, administration, and accreditation. I worked at the University of Illinois at Chicago for more than 30 years, moving from instruction up through curriculum development, assessment, to the management of the program. Just briefly, with my experiences as an instructor and administrator and in accreditation, I've learned the importance of looking to your constituents to see what they actually need, and gained skills in balancing the resources that you have and the dreams that you have for the people who need your programs, and I will bring those skills as a trustee.
Thank you. And last but not least, Mayor Eddie.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. Another big thank you to the Village, College of DuPage, and the library for putting this together. I'm here as a fellow candidate who shares the same hopes and changes that a lot of you guys listening and here in attendance are also asking for. We are all busy. We're all balancing work. We're raising kids. We're trying to get those sports in for our children, and I'm just another option for change in Addison. I currently work for the Sheriff's Office. I'm a lieutenant at the Sheriff's Office. I'm currently enrolled at Northwestern University. I also went to College of DuPage. I have lived in Addison since 2012. We moved in 2013. I have 3 daughters, beautiful wife, 2 dogs. I'm involved with AYS. AYS is a non-for-profit. It gives out thousands of dollars in scholarships. I'm happy to be on that board. Most of my time is volunteering, whether it be at the PTA, AYS, softball, and I also sit on the board for Addison School District 4. So thank you.
Thank you. And Tom.
Good evening, and thank you to the Addison Public Library for this opportunity. With Mayor Vench's retirement, I am running for mayor of the Village of Addison. A little about myself. I graduated from Driscoll High School here in Addison, and I'm a veteran of the United States Navy. I moved to Addison in 1989, where I raised my 4 children and now grandfather of 2. I'm also a local small business owner. My involvement in Addison runs deep. I'm past Grand Knight of the Knights of Columbus 650 Council, past Commander American Legion Post 1969, past President of the Addison JCs, past Treasurer of the Addison Community Council, and a current member of Teamsters Local 673. Additionally, I served as chair of the Addison Historical Commission, where I worked to establish the Addison Historical District. I was first elected a village trustee in 1999, and I've been deputy mayor for the past 12 years. I understand the values that make our community strong, and I ask for your support and for my fellow United Addison candidates. Thank you.
Thank you. For the next portion, we will move on to the questions. The questions were submitted by residents of Addison. Some of them are a little bit more general, but what we wanted was to have your voice to these candidates. So we'll go in, we'll start with the public library, but we'll go in reverse order than what we did the introductions. So for the first question, we will begin with Kathleen Willis. What do you see as the role of a library board member?
As I stated in my opening, one of the most important things is to support our staff and to give them the resources that they need to be able to serve the community. We also need to make sure that we have a balanced budget and are fiscally responsible with that as we go forward. But the most important thing is making sure that we have the right people at the right places in the library as the employees and mostly the director.
Thank you. Ruben, same question.
She pretty much said what I was going to say. And support the staff. I mean, our library is awesome. We have to do the best we can to keep them, provide them the resources they need, and keep that budget balanced. I mean, I know it gets tough with taxes and whatnot, but we have to look forward and plan ahead, so.
Fair, thank you. Moving on to the next question. Ruben, the term for the board member is 6 years. Where do you see Addison Public Library in 6 years?
Well, first of all, I hope it's still there. Continuing to improve as it has, hopefully larger than it is now. And doing what it does now, providing to everyone in our community, from small groups to large groups, trying to include everyone the best way we can. So.
Thank you. Kathleen, same question.
Thank you. Well, I think what we'll see is we'll see some wonderful things as we go through the renovations. They will be all finished, and we may even be ready to do more at that point in 6 years as the community grows and expands and the needs of the community, continuing to be responsive to what the community wants and needs is one of the most important things that a library can do. We will still have books. We always will have books, but our programming will be there. The people that we serve will be from, infants to senior citizens. Many will be virtual, but we'll still be working in the community.
Thank you. Your Addison Public Library trustee candidates. Moving on, we will go to Park District. And again, we will go in the reverse order. So Dean, the first question is for you. How will you address residents' concerns about the condition of the parks and playgrounds, playground equipment, the lack of programming, like ones available in surrounding towns, and the general lack of maintenance at Park District's buildings and grounds?
So a lot, as I may have mentioned with some of the improvements we've been making, a lot of the residents don't see the inner workings of working on the pool, the roofs that we've replaced these last couple years on all of our buildings, and some of the infrastructure. Those aren't the pretty projects. What residents may have noticed these last couple years, the improvements in Lake Manor in the center of town, which should be finished this spring. We're working on Community Park, the major improvements out there, which should be done by the fall, and then now the groundbreaking over at Centennial. And that project should be done as well. On that note, we are looking at putting in a strategic plan and also capital improvement plan to address the parks and the playgrounds, because we do know that some of the playgrounds do need work as well. Again, you have to work on that foundation, get that built up and improved before you can start spending money outside. And that is a big goal of the current board.
Thank you. Heather?
I'm assuming same question, right?
I can repeat it. It's nice and short, right?
Yes. As a resident, I have kids in the community who visit the parks, who play sports in the community. I want to be able to help the Park District come up with ideas and ways to improve, things that are broken within the community. Our parks are kind of dirty right now too. I think we need to work on making sure that those are clean and safe for our kids so that they have a fun place to go. I also want to focus on seniors. We have a lot of seniors in the community and senior centers that are being built and have been built, and I think having a place where they can go, have programs for them to go and have fun and live out their dreams of being a youthful senior as well, and adults in between. So I think that by being on the board, I'll have that voice to be able to bring those ideas and bring back some of the stuff that I remember growing up.
Thank you. Question number 2, and we'll begin with you, Heather. There is concern about the debt that the Park District has accrued. What is your opinion of this, and how will you work to address residents' concerns?
I think transparency is key. I have visited some of the board meetings for the Park District. You know, a lot of the stuff, the financials aren't really shared. They're not posted either on the websites. I also know that, you know, within the last month, looking at their financials, we're about $13,000 in debt with bonds and interest and everything. So I think maybe bringing in a new perspective, a different eye. I do work with budgets within my, I'm a practice manager for a healthcare system, so I work with budgets and I understand variances, and hopefully my education background will be able to assist in that matter.
Great, thank you very much. Dean?
Thank you very much. So regarding the budget, we have been, especially in the last couple of years, focusing on bringing down the debt. We came into a situation where there were a lot of bonds in the past, and that is a major focus of ours. That's why everybody wants the new parks right away, but we have to make sure we're balancing everything properly. One of our goals is to increase programming and getting revenue from programming. The last couple of years, our youth programs have been increasing, double-digit percentage. We've added, because the residents have asked, Little League Baseball, we're adding Little League Softball. We have a growing soccer program for the youths. We have growing basketball programs as well. So if we focus on more revenue building, that'll help. In addition to, you mentioned the seniors, or that was mentioned, our senior group, for any active seniors in here, is probably one of the strongest in the entire county. We have programming every week for the seniors. We have trips for the seniors as well. So again, the focus of the board is to bring down the debt if we do need to reissue bonds, focusing on bringing down past that and then adding some of that to any capital improvement projects. But that's always the focus, try to keep it as balanced as possible. It's a tough juggling act, and I think everybody up here understands that. And also, too, if anybody does want to go see the financials, go to addisonparks.org. Our past budget is on there. All our meeting notes are on there as well.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Addison Township, we will begin with the Township Supervisor. Our candidate, Mr. Hernandez. What do you see as the role of the Township Supervisor?
So yeah, thank you for your question. The role of a supervisor is to oversee the three key functions of the township level of government. That is social services, general assistance, and I guess now with the elimination of the highway commissioner, to ensure that our families, our students get home safely, get to work safely, so to ensure that our streets are safe. I do want to, but beyond that, I think that the township can play a key role when it comes to preventative health. We have an aging population, we have more residents moving into the region, and there are key services that the township can be creative to serve. Along with that, we as a township can be an integral partner along with all these other intergovernmental bodies. What we currently have in Addison Township is we have an individual who operates in silo. Who doesn't communicate, who does not check in with our other key partners, and so I look to change that. As district director, again, of the 77th district, I have worked with our neighboring individuals, and right now, we need more creativity at the township level, and we need better leadership, unlike Mr. No-Show Rebeletti.
Thank you. Since you are the only candidate, the second question is also for you. Maybe anticipating my second question. Some people say townships are redundant and unnecessary in an urban and suburban area. What do you say to those people?
So that's another great question. Believe it or not, I was in Springfield when the governor stated that in the State of the State address back on Wednesday, February 19th. I highly disagree. Now, Townships are a very interesting level of government, right? It's that middle layer between county and municipalities. And so in essence, with those general assistance programs that are federally mandated and the social services, we have the potential to have to create some sort of safety net for our seniors who may be on a fixed income, right? For single families. But I do not believe that the township level of government is redundant. It picks up the pieces from, again, it's that extra layer that picks up the pieces from these little, I wouldn't say gray areas, but from these unincorporated areas, as many of us know of. Along with that, there isn't really key mandates that prohibits, again, townships from doing a bit more. But all in all, being an integral partner, not only with intergovernmental bodies, but with state partners and federal partners. There are many entities out there, and even the private sector, that want to work with Addison Township. I think having an individual that's more collaborative, like myself, would be key to ensuring that happens.
Thank you. Tonight we have with us the candidate for township clerk, and so we will be asking the same questions as we are the township trustees. But we will again go in reverse order. So the first question will go to Deborah. What can townships do to increase their visibility in the community?
That's an excellent question, something that we have actually been thinking about. You know, when I go around knocking on doors, people sometimes do not know that they live in a township. Someone has told me, oh, do you know you're in Villa Park, or do you know that you're in Bensonville, when I'm talking about running for Addison Township trustee. I think that the members of the board need to be out in public, need to be asking people, what is it that you need from the services in your township? This is what a township is for. It has these various purposes, and one of them is general assistance. What is it that you think is needed? And if we go about being transparent, putting more information on the website, going around and meet people, make sure think about how to get the word out. It'll be much better than it currently is. And I think it's important. People need to know who is making decisions that affect their lives.
Thank you. Joey, same question.
Can you repeat the question again?
Sure. What can townships do to increase their visibility in the community?
Sure. So I was recently asked that question at a meet and greet last week, and I think most importantly, the first thing that we need to do as a township is put out an informational campaign to our residents here. Again, like Debbie's saying, knocking on doors. A lot of people don't even know what Addison Township is. They're asking me questions about Addison Village. When I'm going to Bensonville and Wooddale, they're telling me I'm in the wrong town. I'm not in Addison. Why am I knocking on their door? So I think an informational campaign really needs to be put out so that residents understand what services are being offered by the township, so they can now put their input of what programs and services are needed in this township from themselves. We can't just assume that the only things that are needed are the senior adult services and the food pantry. We need to understand what the community needs, especially knowing that all of our towns between Elmhurst, Wooddale, Bensonville, Itasca, Addison, they are all socioeconomically different from each other. So my answer, all in all, would be to have an informative outreach campaign with the residents here in Addison Township.
Thank you very much. Max. Same question.
I think it goes back to the whole thing about being transparent. And one of the things that I think we all have decided that if elected, we would like to put our board meetings on the internet, YouTube, make it accessible for people to see. I think another thing that we can incorporate is maybe having town halls, having people come on a quarterly basis, come to the wonderful facility that's available for their constituents to attend and voice their opinions and let us know what they want, and be more transparent and get out there and understand what the public needs. I feel like a lot of the opportunities, there's a lot of opportunities that are being missed currently by the current board. we need to be more visible. We need to get out there in the communities. We need to show that we care and make ourselves present so we could talk to the community and the community can provide us with input on how to make the township a better place.
Thank you. Maria, same question. What can townships do to increase their visibility in the community?
The first thing they can do is show up for forums like this. When your community is showing up to hear what you have to say, it's important to show up. We have had a lot of discussion on how we have more visibility, and that goes down to allowing Zoom in to the township meetings, making them more than 14 minutes and just slapping the gavel down saying we're done, actually covering business. And included in that business is discussing the budget during the meetings and not after the gavel has been dropped. Making the budget more accessible, putting the minutes for the meetings online. None of these things were online with the current township board until a few citizens started asking why they weren't. Updating the website. Having, in the simplest of ways, even having more township gatherings. Having a veterans gathering, having a 5K, having a community garden, those kinds of things. That's how we create the visibility.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And second question, we will start with you, Maria. What township service are you most excited to work on or expand if you are elected?
I like to tell stories, so I'll tell a quick story. My grandmother passed away when she was 92 years old, and she lived in her home until the very last day. She had a wonderful township that she lived in. It was Proviso Township. They had a lot of programs for seniors that allowed her to stay in her home until she was 92. They had Dial-A-Ride, which we do not have in Addison Township. They had the Proviso West Handyman, which came and did small jobs. We do not have a handyman in Addison. They had landscaping and snow removal, where all the seniors bought a coupon book to cover them through the season. They would take one of the coupons every time they needed snow removal or the lawn done, and the township worked in conjunction with the landscaper and snow removal in order to pay down the rest of that. They also had a medical equipment rental. When my grandfather was ill, we had a hospital bed in that house in 2 hours. All of these services gave my grandmother the peace of mind that she needed to stay in her home and maintain her home. We don't have any of these services. If I'm going to do anything, it's going to be for the seniors, and I'm going to make it work, and I'm going to make it work because they deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you. Max, same question. What township service are you most excited to work on or expand if you're elected?
Well, one of the things that I was most appalled when I found out that the food pantry is only open 1 hour, 1 day a week. I think that's completely not appropriate for our constituents. Listen, food insecurity is a very sensitive topic for a lot of people out here. It takes a lot of courage to go and ask someone for some help, and I need some help, I need some food. And to build up that courage, and you only get that 1 hour, 1 day a week to do that, that's just not right. So if elected, I would work with Bobby in making sure that we would have our hours increased and make it more accessible for our seniors, for our young families who are struggling, who need that food and needs that support, and make it more accessible by expanding the hours. I think that is very crucial and would be one of our top agendas if elected.
Thank you. Joey, same question.
So I don't have one particular service that I'm very excited about. What I'm excited about is the mission that I've identified for this township. And the mission is enhancing the quality of life for all. And how do you enhance the quality of life for all? It's through financial health, physical health, and emotional health. All those services are needed at the township right now. We do, as Maria and Max have said, there are very limited services when it comes to food pantry and senior adult services, and there's ways that we can really bring those up. But what we need to do to get them there, and along with the financial, physical, and emotional health, we need to cultivate strong relationships with our community-based organizations, our intergovernmental agency partners, our partnerships with College of DuPage and other schools. We cultivate those relationships, we listen to our constituents here, and we start to figure out how we make these stronger services here in Addison Township. So with that being said, I know I didn't give one, but I just think there's a lot of work that needs to be done to enhance the quality of life for all here in Addison Township. Thank you.
Thank you. And Deborah, same question.
So as far as the service, the first thing and the thing that has been on my heart and mind since we started this was communicating to the community. And I think it's a service, because if you don't communicate, nobody knows what you can do for them. Nobody knows where you can go for help. Nobody knows how to get that help. So my big thing is improve the website. It is not hard. It is not hard to make a downloadable form for someone who needs to apply for something. It's not hard to have a link to something you're referring to. It is not hard to tell whoever is on the website the meaning of an acronym. If you look at our the current website, it has LIHEAP on there, but it doesn't say what LIHEAP means. There's no link going to anything about LIHEAP. Who would possibly know that, in fact, there is a service for them to get some help for heating or cooling their home? So I'm actually rather passionate about this, and I don't want to break the microphone, but we need, we need transparency in the meetings. We need transparency of what is available, and it is not hard to fix a website to provide those things.
Thank you very much. And now to our mayoral candidates. So the rules for this is a little bit different. You will each have 3 questions, and after one of you has spoken, the other one will be given 60 seconds to rebut that or add something. So again, we will start in reverse with Tom. The first question is, as mayor, what is your vision for Addison for the next 5 to 10 years?
My vision for Addison is to, first, I'd like to bring in a community development person to, not an employee, but to have a vision to let us write down what we want to see. I know a lot of times we want Trader Joe's, we want boutiques, but I think we need to bring somebody in that's professional to tell us our list of what we want to do and see if we can fit that list. I think we need to look towards our older section of the industrial area to see if we can improve that. We have some vacant property that are along Lake Street, the bank, the Luther Brook property. I think that the community development person will help us focus on marketing that and bringing the right development into the town. And just the quality of services, improve on them as we have in the past.
Great, thank you. Any rebuttal?
So thank you all. You guys are all up here for the right reasons. It's not easy to speak in front of all these awesome people. I like Tom's ideas, I really do. Tom is part of the party. The party is ruled by Addison United. They're all on the board now. So these are all great ideas that don't need to be promised. The mayor's sitting right here. They could all get together and make this happen. When you have one party rule for as long as we have, it doesn't really allow outsiders or families. It allows that group of individuals to really make decisions for all of us. So,
thank you. And then the same question for you. As mayor, what is your vision for Addison for the next 5 to 10 years?
So with the ever-changing climate, my goal is to make Addison safer. Being in law enforcement, I see it every day that things could change. Crime is unpredictable, so I can't promise you that crime's going to stop. Unfortunately, the criminals are not predictable. We are by major intersections, and they could get off on 355 and be in your backyard. What I will promise you is that I will work with the police department. I attended the last meeting. It was Chit Chat with the Chiefs, I think they call it. And I was very disappointed to hear that Addison has a minimum of 5 officers. Now, yes, I'm in law enforcement, and they're going to tell you that the deputy chief and detectives are all available. But I could also tell you that at 2 o'clock in the morning, the detectives, the deputy chief, and the chief are not working. My vision for Addison is to have aldermen or people elected from your neighborhoods. If you live in Kings Point, and none of the current trustees live in Kings Point, well, we could go to our current trustees and ask for help. It's more likely they will help if it's something that affects them in their backyard. I want somebody from each part of town to be represented. It won't be easy, and like I said, one thing that I strive on is I don't make promises that I can't keep. And when people come up to me and they ask me, are you going to lower taxes? Well, that's not something that the mayor could really control. So I'm very realistic on what I can and can't do. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any rebuttal?
The police department, I have the utmost respect for the police department. I don't think the mayor should be telling the police department how to run their job or do their job. That's left to the professionals. As far as the trustees, we are at large. We represent everybody. I have friends all over town. I know what's happening in every part of town. I've seen the automatic work, how it works in other towns. I know friends that live in other towns that have aldermen and don't get along with either one of their aldermen and have no one to turn to. We all are at large. We represent everybody. I know every aspect of this town, and I think the current system is working. As far as one party, we're all individuals. We all get elected, and we represent everybody, and that's the way it should be.
Thank you. For this next question, I'm going to let you each answer, and then I'm going to ask for your rebuttals. So we will start with Eddie. The infamous warehouse and trucking yard right in the middle of town are not exactly conducive to an aesthetically pleasing town. What kind of businesses, other than warehouses and truck yards, will you be looking to attract to the village?
So that factory, everybody has seen it. Nobody likes that factory. It's sat vacant for a very long time. And I'm not going to speak for Tom, and I don't know if this is accurate, but in 1999, and I'm quoting an article here, he said his goal was to redevelop Michael Lane and the Green Oaks area, and also to create a town center. We could have used that property for a town center. We did not use it for a town center. The residents that live in that area now have to deal with the trucks that make noises. They have to deal with the exhaust. And this has happened before. If you live by the Highlands, that's over by the high school, you remember how much uproar and how many people were upset because you guys had concerns. Nobody listened. When Pampered Chef went up, nobody listened. My goal is to have a downtown area. The village is sitting on Luther Brook. We're paying interest on it. That could be developed for a turf field for the kids to play. It could also be developed for a sandwich shop, something where we could congregate. We don't have that. Elmhurst has that. Bloomingdale has that. We're better than those towns. We should have those things.
Thank you. Tom, any rebuttal?
Well, as far as the building that's zoned for that property, the town center was a vision of the villages until the recession in 2008. It also incorporated other developments to change, Lula, Green Meadows. You had to get all those on board for it, but then the recession hit. As far as Pampered Chef, I don't understand. That's an industrial area. It's not by any residents, so I don't understand about that one. And Luther Brook property, you can make it a park, but then the village's responsibility isn't the parks. That's the park district. We don't have a downtown like Elmhurst. We don't have a train running through it. You look at the Bloomingdale. I grew up in Bloomingdale. That's Old Town. Those are small streets. That's the same buildings that were there in the 1800s, and they just fixed them up. That's all I have.
Thank you. Eddie, any rebuttal?
No, all the information I'm reading, please Google. What I actually ended up doing is I have a membership to the Daily Herald and the Tribune. Just plug some of these information in. I also encourage you to Google all these fine individuals up here so you can learn what's going on. We don't have a Dave & Buster's. Why did they leave? They went to Yorktown Shopping Center. Why? Because they have an outside area where people could walk and enjoy. Our parks, I'm not running for the parks, but our parks could benefit from some kind of connection with the village. The village has elected officials. The village has a commission that's appointed by the mayor, recommended by the mayor and voted by the trustees. We have the president of the library that sits on those commissions, another elected official. Mr. Tatopoulos is in charge of the events for the village, and he's on the park district. So we could work on getting these things better. We really do have the connections set. That is something that I will give the administration, is you guys have friends, you guys have connections, you have appointed people that could benefit our community, so let's make it happen.
Thank you. And for the final question, we will begin with Tom. How do you plan on bringing more diversity to the various village committees and board?
I think we have that now. We have a or Community Advisory Commission made up of members of our village. It's broken down by the population of our village. So we have 8 white, 8 Hispanics, 1 African American on that, and we've been meeting for the last, I believe, year and a half that we've going through the different departments of the village, the schools, the library. No, we haven't been in the library yet, I'm sorry, Park District, but getting those people involved. I also meet with a Hispanic group that's of business owners and property owners in town, and make myself available whenever possible.
Thank you. Eddie, same question.
So I'm an American first, but I do have Mexican blood in me. I speak fluent Spanish. The Latino CAC was broken up by the mayor, not Tom, the current mayor, for unknown reasons. There was another group that was put in its place. But the problem that I have is I try not to go back into the past, but there's a lawsuit that happened. The federal government sued the village of Addison. Look it up, like I said, don't take my word for it, for pushing out Hispanics. It was eventually settled. That individual, that mayor, is still among us. He's a police commissioner. He's also, according to the economic statements filed by the county as of 2024, he's an assistant to the mayor. I didn't know we had that position, but like I said, that's what it says. When I see people, when I respond to a 911 call, I don't see anything but somebody asking for help. When I see people in my community, I don't see anybody but asking for help. I don't see black, white, Asian, Hispanic. All I see is people that live in Addison. So, thank you.
Thank you. Tom, any rebuttal?
Well, I agree with Eddie as far as I don't see race. I don't, and maybe sometimes I tell people maybe I'm naive about that, but I don't. As far as a Latino CAC, I don't ever recall having one. The Green Oaks lawsuit started because a mother was sitting on a porch holding her baby when it was a drive-by shooting. When those were built in the 70s, and I think part of it, you know, it might not be factual, but was to get home rule at the time. I think you had to have 25,000 residents, so they packed in apartment buildings. It was overcrowded, run down. The village was sued. At the time, they probably didn't do it the right way, but what exactly happened, what the village wanted to do is get rid of the center core is exactly what happened.
Thank you. Eddie, any rebuttal?
Very simple rebuttal. The village of Addison has a huge population of Spanish-speaking people. We also have a very large Italian, Greek, and all these people need to be represented. They need a person that is not a politician. As I have said before, I already get paid by you, the taxpayers, to be a deputy. I don't need the money as mayor. I will refuse to take any money, any salary, any benefits, and I don't plan on running more than one time. I don't want to make a career out of this. I don't want to put my friends and family into positions at the village. I just want to come in and I want to help. And lastly, I am fluent in Spanish. So with so many people, and whether they could vote or not, they're residents and they pay taxes. Unless Tom speaks Spanish, I think I'm the only candidate that will be able to connect with those people.
Thank you. So now that we've answered the questions, I want to do something that I do with my students after I make them sit for a long time and listen to me yap or listen to each other yap. And that's to give you each 60 seconds to either sum up or close up or address something that maybe you've heard that you feel like you didn't get out with these questions. And we will go around the room in order, so not to put you on the spot, Tom, but 60 seconds, is there something I missed? Is there something that the voters need to know?
I don't think you missed anything. This is a great forum. We haven't done it in a long time. I'm not a politician. I'm not a politician. I say that because I love this village. You know, if anybody knows me, you know, as my kids will always joke with me since they've been, you know, if they were little when I got elected, I bleed Addison. I love this village. I love the people that I deal with every day and talk to. I love the events that we go to. I'm proud to live in the village. And as David found out in Puerto Rico, he met some people that live in the village and knew who I was. So that's pretty cool. But I love the village, and I will be proud to be the next mayor of Addison.
Thank you. Eddie?
I'm going to say the same thing, except mine has a different meaning. I am not a politician. I have not held office since 1989. I was born in 1985. I'm blessed to have a teenage daughter, and we have to really work towards the youth. There's a lot of kids. We're approaching Generation Z, Generation Alpha, Generation Beta. We have to, like I said, we have to take care of our seniors, but we also have to tailor to these kids. They're doing more and more things on their cellular phones. They're doing, I said cellular phones, on their cell phones. They're on the internet a lot more. They need somebody from the community that could relate. We also need somebody that's in law enforcement. I find it ironic that the mayor in charge of the village and the police chief reports to the mayor, but we should leave that to the professionals. I consider myself a professional, almost 20 years of law enforcement experience. We have to protect our parades. We have to protect our rocking wheels. We can't let something happen by doing the same thing over and over again. Thank you.
Thank you. Ruben?
Yeah, I don't think anything was missed. I think I'm the only person who didn't thank the library for putting this together, so I'd like to throw that in there. Being one of the current library board trustees, that's it.
Great. Thank you very much. Kathleen?
Thank you. I left out a couple of things because I wanted to make sure I got my opening in under a minute. I forgot to tell you that I actually have a master's degree in library science. I have worked in libraries most of my adult life, except for when I was serving in Springfield. I was a full-time legislator at that point. My actual first job was at the Addison Public Library, shelving books for $1.95 an hour. And now I am the current director and manager of the DuPage County Law Library. Libraries have always been important to me all of my life. When my husband and I bought our first home, we were walking distance to the library, a great place to go for free entertainment for little kids. I have done that with my children as they were all growing up. They are all library users, and now I bring my grandchildren to the library, and we absolutely love the library, and I would love to be part of that board. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Heather?
I don't think anything was missed. Just to add, I'm here to advocate for the youth as well. I am part of AYS organization, a commissioner for the volleyball program that we have. So I also, volunteer my time a lot with, within the sports program that we have here in town. I don't even have kids in the program sometimes, and I'm still volunteering. So I think a collaboration with the outside organizations that we have within the community and the Park District may be a great opportunity for us. I'd also like to find a way to collaborate with the school districts, ASD 4 and 88, the nature centers. I think that those are great opportunities for our kids to learn more about nature, get them out and about, like Mr. Castillo had said, off their phones and the internet, Xboxes. Trust me, my kids are on that all the time, so I try and get them out. So I just like to make sure that the Park District will have the opportunity for kids, as well as some seniors, to have opportunities for them.
Thank you.
Well, thanks again, everybody. I think what we want to do, if you've talked to any of our current board members, we are in a very exciting position right now. We have a very strong board. We're filling 2 key positions very shortly, and we're looking to take the Addison Park District to new heights. We are finally in a position where we can make a lot of the changes that we talked about that the residents want and show you guys that we are working for you. Again, it is a very, the Park District is a very important position in this town. We have to make decisions based on the benefit of everybody around town, the 38,000 residents with limited budgets. And that's what we're looking to do. We're always open for opinions. I've made myself available on more than one occasion. Almost any time somebody needs something, I'm available. I get stopped at Rock and Wheels. I have people coming into the restaurant to talk about what's going on in town. So again, the main thing is we want to keep this momentum going and turn the Addison Park District into what it should be. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I just want to emphasize that this is beautiful. In order to have a thriving democracy, it's important to have an informed electorate, and so I'm grateful for this opportunity. I do want to just say, again, thank you to everybody. I do not mean to be crass when I speak of no-show rebelletti, but it is important to show up, to show face, to speak to our constituents, and to really highlight what you have accomplished. During my tenure as district director of the 77th district, again, I have worked with intergovernmental bodies, collaborated, and I look, when elected as supervisor, I look to lead, but lead by serving you, the constituents of Addison, the residents of Addison, and Addison Township. And with that, I want to say thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'd like to just say one thing. Look at as a team right now, as a board. We showed up, we answered tough questions, we understand that the community needs better, and we're here to help you guys achieve those goals. This township is a rich melting pot of cultures and ethnicities, and I think this board truly represents all those different cultures and ethnicities. We're here to support you guys. We're not hiding. We're here to represent the community, and we're ready to lead.
Thank you.
Before anyone says, yes, there's another gentleman running for trustee, he's not here today because he had to work. Not that he didn't want to be here. But my final statement on this is no, the current board is not working. And that's one of the reasons the governor decided to make that offer. This current board in Addison Township is not working. We need a change. We are that change. We need the opportunity to make this township work, to prove that townships still matter and township government is still important. We can make that work. Thank you, and thank you all for coming.
I just want to reiterate that I know how to listen to the constituents here in Addison Township and comprehend what they need. I also know how to gather community-based organizations, intergovernmental agencies, and chambers to make sure that we are providing our constituents with the most effective quality of life programs, being social services, public health, and outreach. There's a lot of changes happening in this world, but one thing we can control are our townships. And we, as the township, need to respect our residents, inform our residents, and be the convener, the information hub for our residents. So with that being said, I've already been acting like a trustee for all my clients for the last 7 years, and now is my time to be the trustee here for Addison Township. Thank you.
I also want to thank everyone, and from my own background, I know what it means to have to put together a forum and ask everybody to add something else into their day. And to all of you who came to hear us, appreciate you taking time in your evening. I wanted to say that one thing, because it's so short, you could stand here and ask us questions for a long, long time, but one thing that I think is important for everyone to know about the board candidate sitting here is that all of us have spent many, many hours in our lives volunteering for others, doing things for others already. one of the residents of Addison Township asked me, so, if you get elected, then how are you going to keep this enthusiasm going? And I thought it was a good question, but my answer was, we've already been doing this for years. I've put thousands of volunteer hours in various and sundry activities you can talk to me about later, but so I think that you can trust that if we are elected, we will absolutely do our best for the residents of Addison Township, because that's what we have been doing. That's something that's important to us. It's certainly important to me.
Thank you. How about a round of applause for all of our candidates today? Again, thank you so much for participating. It's hard to run, I get it. I would encourage you all to stay. You have an opportunity, so you heard some questions that we wrote and you heard some answers that they gave, but now you have an opportunity to sit and have a conversation with the person that you may or may not be voting for. This is a great opportunity for you to have that one-on-one with them if you have the time. Again, thank you for coming. Thank you. How about a round of applause for our audience here? And thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Have a good night, everybody.